What's up, guys? It's Joseph and Ray back again for a nice, fun, exciting Ask EVGA episode. What is this, episode 10?
This is episode 10.
Okay, so episode X Max.
Yeah.
That's what we'll call it. This is the X Max episode.
No, it's 10. 10S. This is
Okay.
episode 10S.
All right, 10S.
Yes.
What does the S stand for?
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
Speed, I think. I don't know what R stands for.
all right, so we're going to speed through this one since it's the 10S episode. We got some exciting stuff coming up. We're going to be uploading a Precision X1 video, the new revision of Precision X1. We got to mess around with it a little bit last week. Super cool.
Yeah.
I really like it. New interface, new code base, new everything. Thing's awesome. And works with RTX. Other exciting news today is the first performance reviews have come out now for the RTX 2080 cards.
Right.
So that's been pretty cool. I like seeing kind of all the different opinions out there. Yeah, that's pretty much it for just kind of random news. But I wanted to mention those things real quickly before we jump in, as usual. Okay, so the first question's for you, Ray, as always. This is from Luke W. Is there any plans to modernize EVGA.com's shipping policy? And then he gives an example. If I order a $500 power supply with free shipping, but then I want to add something like a $7 lanyard, that then will cost him $50 in shipping. So it looks like it's combining the shipping cost of the power supply into that for some reason, even though it should be free.
Right.
So he's wondering if that's something that will update as far as policy.
Yeah, I mean, if that's something that you're seeing, or if that's something like you can, if you give us like screenshots, particularly helpful. So adding the item, and then say you add in the lanyard and suddenly it pulls the free shipping out, because the way that the programming probably works on that is it's probably looking for that one item, and then once you add anything of any value of any type, it could be a t-shirt, could be a lanyard, anything, it changes it so that the programming side, it probably isn't seeing the promotional item. So it probably is in that instance doing the shipping for both the power supply unit as well as the lanyard, which should be free as you indicate. So if you do see that, please forward that to us directly, to our support. Best to call us, but you can also forward screenshots to webmaster@evga.com, and then from there we can have our IT team look at that and make sure we get that corrected, because like you say, it's not $50 to add a lanyard to it. It's probably just an issue with programming on that side, and we can get that fixed pretty easily.
Yeah, I'd say it's safe to say that's a programming error. So sorry about that. We'll definitely look into that.
If that was the case, if that's what you ran into, I do apologize. Please don't order it at that price. Just reach out to us, and we should be able to get that fixed.
Right. Okay.
Right. Moving on to the next one. This is from Grayson Mullich. Sorry if I got that wrong. Will the RTX 2080 Ti FTW3 Ultra Gaming get a water block anytime soon after release?
Yeah. Well, we do have the water block. We have shown it and stuff. Obviously, there's a little bit of engineering and changes and stuff that usually need to be made, so those release a little bit after. But we do expect to have that relatively soon after the cards come out. It's just as usual. We don't know any particular dates necessarily, and even if I do know a particular date, since I'm on the product team, sometimes those those change quite often. Right. So we never like to sort of put that information out there in case there is a change. We don't want to make anyone upset. Right. So yes, it should be sometime soon after the release of the card. Just don't have an exact date yet.
Sure. I really like the new design, though. I like the color scheme as well as some of the see-through on that. I think it looks really nice on these new generation blocks, so I'm excited to see those myself.
Yeah, you've seen the hydrocopper? Yeah,
I did.
It looks really nice.
Yeah, it does. All right, so
yeah, this is a long format. It looks like Joe Tippett is back. Hello, Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Yeah, you've asked some questions in the past. This time he's given us 6 questions, and we're going to kind of just rail through them really quickly.
Okay.
So first one's for you.
Okay.
If I were to remove the factory cooler with the EVGA GPU and use an aftermarket one like the NZXT G12, for example, and something catastrophic were to happen to the card, let's say like the liquid damaged the card or something like that, Would you still be able to do warranty claim if we put the factory cooler back on?
No. If it was a leak caused by some other AIO, then unfortunately that would void the warranty because it doesn't cover any type of water damage. If you're using an EVGA hybrid and for some reason there was some flaw with the hybrid that actually caused it to leak, that is kind of a special case. You'll definitely want to reach out to our support about something like that, and we'll try to work something out on that. Basically, we'd have to inspect it and determine if there was some type of hardware failure that led to that. But on other products, on ones that are not ours, it's basically just going to fall. It would be the same as if you dropped it into a bucket of water. It really doesn't matter. At that point, our ability to repair the card is null, and the water damage is pretty complete on it. So unfortunately, if you are looking at water cooling solutions, that is a reason to go with EVGA ones because it's easier for us to cover anything that happens, supposing if it is a hardware failure. If it's something accidental, it can still be water damage, in which case it may not be covered by warranty, but that does happen.
Yeah, and if that fails and it's a manufacturing defect, we did not manufacture the NZXT block, for instance, so I would reach out to NZXT and see if they possibly would cover the damage to the card. Sometimes that's the case if we know something of ours particularly caused damage to other components and we can prove that, we do compensate for that with our warranty.
Yep,
too. So
it's always special case by case.
Right.
I will say AIO failures in general, just like industry-wide, are really uncommon.
Yes,
so
super rare. Super rare.
Something serious has to happen for that to happen, and so it's unlikely.
Right.
But we do get that question every once in a while. Next question, I'll ask this to you, Joseph. Do your EVGA CLC AIO CPU coolers work with the NZXT G12? I've read that they should support all Asetek mounts, but yours is slightly weird and has to be mounted funny to get it to sit correctly.
Well, that's a tough question. It's not something
we don't test it.
Yeah, it's not something we've tested.
Right.
Usually you're going to look for user feedback on that. So if you can ask in the EVGA forums,
Right.
You can ask in other forums online. If people are saying yes, this works, or they've tested it, maybe there's pictures of someone having installed that themselves, you can maybe try and maybe trust their word, but that's not something that we can guarantee as we haven't tested it.
Right.
We don't guarantee anything that we haven't personally tested ourselves.
Yeah.
So
and that's not one that I expect we ever would end up testing. Yes, our CLCs do use a standard Asetek mount, which is why if you were to buy, say, a Threadripper and that comes with a TR4 mount for Asetek coolers, it will work on our CLCs because that is kind of a standard for Asetek. But there's always clearance issues. Our block is a bit of a different size and shape than some others, so really hard to say without somebody sitting down and testing it.
correct. Yeah, so that's the long and short of it.
Right.
Or the short and quick. I don't know how to put that. All right, question 3 from Joe. Is there going to be a classified edition of the RTX 2080 and a Kingpin edition of the RTX 2080 Ti cards? If so, can we have an ETA?
Okay. No ETAs on any cards that we really haven't shown yet. And quite frankly, we haven't really shown anything beyond what we have on the website. I think there have been maybe a teaser or two that Jacob has shown in regards to a future Kingpin, but we really don't have any information at this time.
Yeah. Yeah, basically what Ray said as far as there being a teaser or two out there. Usually Jacob's going to have a bit of discretion on, letting information out there. So if you follow Jacob, EVGA, Jacob F, I think it is, on Twitter.
You can actually, he'll give it some pretty interesting hints from time to time, so it's
sometimes
actually good to
he'll do
follow
that,
him directly.
Okay, question 4. Any new, is that one for me?
Yes.
Okay.
This one's for you, I'm sorry. Any news on the 2,000 watt PSU monster you guys showed off at Computex 2018?
No news.
No news.
No,
Okay.
nothing yet. No ETA. I've seen it. I've tested it. I've used it.
Okay.
But a lot of times Computex and CES and some of the future technology shows where we show off stuff that is in the works.
Sure.
Sometimes that stuff comes out relatively soon to that show. Sometimes it takes a while. We also don't know kind of where the whole mining thing is going to go.
Sure.
That's
Sure,
kind of
that
a
is
power supply more geared towards mining. I
It's-
don't want to say that officially,
right, but it has more of a market applicability.
right, yeah.
In
And
regards
the
to that.
appeal out there is going to be mostly to that kind of user. So no ETA as of this time. A lot of times those we don't even know if it's actually going to become a retail product or not. So that's still up in the air too. The keyboard, the Z10 keyboard, that was I think 4 years.
Yeah, we showed that at several shows.
Showed it
and,
at I think originally CES, and then the actual product came out 4 years later. So
Right.
we've shown it a bunch of times. And, we never know exactly how that sort of flow is going to work out. Okay, so question 5: Are there any? Oh, what is this? Are there any tech tubers or gamers you officially support and sponsor? I know a few people who are sponsored by companies such as MSI, Gigabyte, Asus, but I cannot think of any that you officially sponsor or support other than Kingpin himself.
You actually may be able to answer this one a little bit better than I can. Because I'm not that familiar with what we do on the sponsorship side. I know that we have programs that we do for PC, like building modders and things like that. And of course, we support our community through a bunch of different methods and shows and giveaways and things like that. But do we have any sponsors that we have? Or
We tend to sponsor sometimes with a product or two.
okay,
Sometimes we co-sponsor with other companies.
okay,
I know there's some really, really big YouTubers out there that a lot of you will know, or almost everybody knows, that we do have components in systems, but we went through like system builders, for instance. Like we have close relationship with a lot of system builders, like Origin PC. So sometimes you'll see Origin PC with a YouTuber that has EVGA Card in that. A lot of times we're sponsoring that indirectly.
okay.
As far as streamers and esports and things like that, we try to be a little bit more family oriented. So sometimes there's a lot of language and
It can be difficult.
things
to
going around with
control
that. So yeah, we tend to sponsor events and give out prizes for tournaments and things like that, but we don't often directly sponsor individuals who are a tech tuber or streamer.
Sure. But who knows? Who knows? It's an expanding and changing PC world and dynamic. Certainly, the esports side of things is always very exciting. So who knows?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I personally will send out sponsorships sometimes. So I'll meet people at the shows who will come to like PAX, for instance. I just sent out some stuff to somebody who was at PAX that I met. Does really cool stuff. So I sent him off some stuff. So we do sometimes sponsor those things, but it's really on a case-by-case basis. There's no one that we continually do, at least not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Cool.
Well, since I answered that, I'll go ahead and give you this one.
So-
Does EVGA have anything in the works other than PC-related hardware such as monitors, SSDs? I would love to be able to have an entire PC powered by nothing but EVGA products. I like your style.
Yeah, we would love that too.
Yeah. And then he goes on to list the different
Sure,
components. So it's pretty freaking close as it is. Yeah, it is, actually. We have a lot of stuff out there already.
Well, obviously, we don't manufacture CPUs. Memory, you can get some of that through Micro Center at this point. I don't know how many Micro Center stores still carry it, but we do offer DDR4 and 3 through Micro Centers. As far as future components, I mean, we don't really have any information at this time. We don't really talk about future stuff unless we show it in sort of our concept section of our website, or we show it at a show that we have coming up. But certainly, I mean, we look at the entire industry and we look at how things are changing in the industry and trying to expand our footprint in that industry. And ultimately, anything that we're going to do as a company is to sort of make EVGA, the brand, something that you as a consumer trust and think of when you think of PC gaming, PC hardware, and that can go across many forms. So certainly we're looking at everything. So whether or not we make a decision to go into this direction or that direction, like we have with cases or like we have with laptops, there's always that testing the market to see what it's like, feeling out the waters, and you'll see more of that. So I think there's a lot of exciting stuff we haven't shown yet that will be coming eventually.
Yeah, 2019, just like 2017 and 2018 were really big years.
Right.
a lot of new products, and 2019 is expected to be the same thing.
Sure.
And like Ray said, we're trying to build the brand of EVGA, and we want to bring premium products because that's kind of what our brand is known for, is premium stuff. So that's what we're trying to bring to the community. We have done stuff, prototyping in the past and things like that, and it didn't quite meet the standards that we wanted it to meet, and we've ixnayed some of that stuff. So, definitely a lot of stuff coming in 2019 side. Definitely keep an eye out for that.
Sure.
All
right. So I'll ask you this last one here.
Sure.
This is from Tech We Love. Do you plan to restock the EVGA Supernova 750 T2 80 Plus Titanium 750 watt power supply, or are you planning on retiring that brand for that wattage? I went to your website, and every link that I went to a vendor of which your site was either sold out or went to the 1000 watt option, or I had an error message. Was the 750 watt titanium PSU not very popular for your company and you let the stock run out, or are you planning on making more stock available to online customers?
Another interesting question, very detailed.
Right.
Yeah, that's something I'm not 100% sure about. The T2 is a very successful unit. Just in general, because of the titanium efficiency rating. Right. So those have been very popular. I don't know particularly about the 750 watt of that series. It's not something I really kept up on. But a lot of times if you don't see it on the website anymore, sometimes that means it's end of life.
Sure.
If you do see it on the website still, and it's pointing to vendors, that very well might be something that's going to be restocked in the future. Sometimes there's shortages on particular components or things like that. Sometimes the demand is for something else, and it's not like we want to discontinue a particular wattage, but there's other wattages that are doing much better at the time, so our resources are geared towards that. There's a lot of scenarios that could be going on that we're not really necessarily privy to.
Right.
So I can't say for sure, but if that's what you're looking for, I certainly hope so.
Right. Yeah, and if, for example, if the 750 watt T2 was pulled from the website, there's no saying that it won't be added back to the website. It could just be that we don't expect to get any for a while.
Right.
And so we don't want to have it on there. Advertise a unit that we know we can't sell for at least some amount of time. But it could very well come right back on there, and then you can purchase one. Anyway, thank you guys for these questions. A lot of detailed questions, which is nice, really getting into the meat of things, and we enjoy that. As ever, put your questions in the comment section below. I always struggle with that. And we'll try to catch that on the episode 11 of Ask EVGA. You guys have a good one.
Bye. I hit the table at the end.